where hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. We're going to talk about a couple things today. They are going to be the strike at Brigham and Women's, for God's sake, and the Orlando shooting. So here we are. So tell me, are you one of the nurses that says there is no place for a strike in healthcare? That's the question. Is that your view? And if so, why? Why is that your view? There's a whole lot of, different viewpoints on this, but I think we should begin by talking about how strikes happen in healthcare, how nurses decide they're going to strike. Oh dear, sorry. So, essentially, you're going to negotiate for upwards of 6 months, in this case 9 months, sometimes it's upwards of a couple of years, with your hospital and your bargaining unit. Okay? So you negotiate forever and you're at a stalemate and the hospital just says, oh, you're going to strike? Go ahead and do it. Essentially, because they know that that's the alternative. And they kind of dare you to do it because they decide that they're not going to pay or give you the benefits or whatever it's going to be. Oh God, that hurts. By the way, I hurt myself last week and my shoulder's all messed up, so I might be a little less bouncy than usual. Okay, so bargaining unit. You bargain forever. You try to get, come to an agreement. Nobody wants to strike. You can't use PTO during a strike, generally. You feel bad about leaving your patients and all these other things, though you're really not, because this is the requirement. There's a 10-day notice to strike. So they have 10 days before the vote, actually, as I recall. And then, isn't it? I could be wrong about that, but it's 10 days before the strike they get notice. So at that point, they can either come back to the table or they can, not come back to the table. And in this case, apparently they did not come back to the table. And they said, well, you just strike if you've gotta. And that's what the nurses are going to do. So what they do is they basically pay strike coverage nurses to cover your job. Now, you'll also have some scabs across the picket line. And when I say scabs, I'm just saying that as the, that's the term that is used for them. I've known people that have, done strike work. I've nothing against them. I personally wouldn't do it, but that's just me. So, so we basically give notice. They have 10 days to hire all these people. And by the way, they know you're going to strike probably a month in advance, that they're not going to negotiate with you. So they had plenty of time to get all these people and pay a whole bunch of other people way more money to run the hospital. Also, a whole bunch of people that don't know where we hide the gauze pads and the, and the defibrillator. Sorry. So in this case, Brigham and Women's has said that they are going to lock the nurses out for 4 days after this event. They're going to lock the nurses out. Lockout. So this is what happens. It doesn't get any worse than this, really. Basically, even though they know it is less safe to have, they know it's less safe to have these people in the hospital. They know it. To have all these other nurses, the strike nurses, who are not the regular nurses in the hospital. But they have to pay them for a minimum of 5 days, generally. So what they're going to do is the 1-day strike turns into 5 unpaid days for the staff nurses, because no matter what, the hospital has to pay them. So they just decide that they will not pay you. So that is naturally punitive. And what do you say about that? I mean, it's punitive. Straight up. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff people talk about. Well, we never had a strike, and I've been doing this for 40 years, and what if someone dies? First of all, people die. Okay, people die all the time. So someone will die during the strike. That's how it goes. That doesn't mean it will be the fault of the nurses who went on strike. The nurses who went on strike are actually fighting for better compensation, benefits, or safety in the case of Brigham and Women's, as I recall. And, of course, patient ratios are always in there. So they're actually fighting for their patients. And they're going to lose 5 days of pay over it instead of 1 day. So let's not make it about the nurse's fault. You know, the entire the thing with healthcare in general is that no matter what happens, the nurses cannot do anything for themselves, do anything to improve their lives, or they are, you know, according to our healthcare organizations, selfish and terrible people and all that. Well, you know, we're still the #1 most trusted profession, so maybe your stuff isn't working. Maybe your propaganda is not working. Organizations, hospital organizations, you know, because we do go on strike. And, you know, in my case, I have a no-strike contract. I work for the government, and we have a terrible contract. But, you know, they said they're getting 700 nurses for the 3,300 nurses, I guess, that are walking out. So how safe do you think that is? They'll have travel nurses working day and night to cover these nurses. They'll also probably cancel some elective surgeries, clinic appointments, things like that. But it's still going to be a dangerous environment. And they would rather do that than pay them what they're worth. Don't know what to say about that. So, basically, if you're following me here, there is no reason. Oh, look, somebody commented. Wow. Oh, it's my friend Arnita Wilson. Excellent educational stream, Janie. This happens in long-term care, too. I was asked by an agency to do strike coverage in Philly. They were willing to pay me to go via train, a place to stay, and salary. For LPN, they were willing to do upwards of $50 an hour, plus travel and extended stay hotel and food. I can only imagine what they were paying the RMs. Needless to say, I declined the invitation. I don't like putting myself in a situation like that, And the only way we move things forward as nurses is to stick together. And she is 100% correct. So crossing a picket line is essentially like saying, oh, you've been fighting for this for 9 months and you're willing to lose pay for your family and all these things because you feel so strongly about it. But hey, tell you what, let me just go ahead and cross this picket line and, you know, I'll make this X number of dollars an hour and it'll be all better for me. It's not the best thing to do. But having said that, there are always people who cross the picket line, and I don't take it personally. I mean, they want to make, they want to get rich quick, terrific. But you know what? If you work in the hospital that you strike in and you cross the picket line, here in St. Louis, we saw exactly how they felt about you when that happened. I mean, there were people who had to quit a hospital out here after they were striking because, they were striking and some of their coworkers decided, well, we're just going to go ahead and cross the picket line and go to work anyway. I can't afford to lose 5 days of pay. Well, I hope they only lost 5 days of pay getting a new job because folks do not like you after you do that. All right. So all I can say is, one, Dr. Ron Walls, who is the hospital's executive vice president and COO, that he's disappointed with the union's decision to strike. Nurses everywhere are very, very disappointed in your decision to not pay nurses the correct amount of money, to cut their benefits, and to make patients unsafe by refusing to negotiate and cutting staffing. So, Dr. Walls, I am also disappointed. You disappoint me. By the way, that just hurt my arm to do that, so I don't like you even more. Okay. So, Brigham and Women's, yay. All right. So, Christine Wilson-Benz. What can we as everyday citizens with no particular superpowers do to help? I have been fascinated/horrified by you bringing to light the staffing race issue. Hi, Christine. Okay, everyday citizens, first of all, we are having all over the country walks and runs for patient safety. This may not have been something, you would think if you just looked at it that it would be, like something that nurses would do or whatever. That's not the case. We need people to stand next to / behind nurses to just, our whole point is raising awareness. We're trying to raise awareness among the community, especially among senior citizens, because so many of them are our patients. We want to raise awareness and make them understand that they are, in fact, not safe in the hospital. They're not. So, if you are able to attend one of our walks, you can donate to our walks. I'm going to give you, hang on a second. I'm going to give you this page I made. I know, right? I know I'm totally boring when I do this. It'd be awesome if I could, remember to do stuff. Oh, here we are, virtual walk for patient safety. And oh, that's me. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. You can give money for the virtual walk for patient safety. You can make your own page and raise more money. That's my page, but you can totally get on that same thing and just go make your own page. It's the button right above donate. And get people together also. When Show Me Your Stethoscope and the Walk for Patient Safety crew, and that's walk for the number 4, patientsafety.com, have our meet space walks. We hope that you will attend, you will bring people. You know, if you know a lot of senior citizens, we would love for you to get in touch with them and tell them we'd love to teach them about this whole issue. So that's how Mere Mortals do it. The other thing you can do, Christine Wilson-Benz, is you can ask your nurse in the hospital how many patients he or she is caring for today. They're not allowed to answer you about whether the ratio is good or bad, but hopefully they'll at least tell you how many they have today, because frankly, if we tell patients that we are short-staffed in the private sector, we can be fired. And not, when I say can be fired, I mean really actually will be fired. There you go. So, yeah. Let's go on to Orlando. Dear God, Orlando. I don't even know what the death toll is at this point. I am terrified to look. Should I look? Probably. This is another thing we've been doing. Today we sent lunch to, there's a blood bank called One Blood in Orlando. And today, show me your stethoscope. That's you guys. Where's my cape? I don't get a cape. Today, we sent lunch to the blood bank employees, all of those healthcare workers. If you want to continue to donate to that, we're going to try to send lunch to a lot of different healthcare organizations that are involved with treating these victims from Orlando. Because, you know what, we're a whole bunch of nurses. Thank you, Amanda. It is so much easier if somebody else does the links, because frankly, my right arm isn't working very well. Did something to the muscles or whatever. Okay. All right. So, I saw a bunch of stuff about the Orlando, it was on a, basically a patient advocacy site that I was looking at. And they were talking about, you know, how it can always be better, and how basically even though the hospital did all these drills, you know, mass casualty drills, you've done them, that luckily they had done it 3 months before, or it could have been way worse. And you know, I was just waiting for somebody to say, you should have had 5,000 people on staff in the emergency department. Let's go back to how mass casualty works as well. I feel terrible for all these people hurt and killed, and the family members. And I truly wish that I could, like I was in charge of the giant rewind button that would make it so this stuff basically never happened. But I'm not. I should be in charge. They don't let me. This is what happens when I am like full of pain all day. Okay, I've been hurting, it hurts, and it makes me tired. So, okay, I wish I had the big rewind button. I don't. But be clear that no matter what happens, or what happened with all of the first responders, the, you know, normal ER staff, the people who came to their mass casualty stations, whatever they did their very, very best. And you know how I know that? Because they're healthcare providers. It's all great to Monday morning quarterback about what happened. I heard some complaints about, do you know they threw victims into the back of a police pickup truck? Well, good. Then they got them to the hospital really fast. And if the bus wasn't running that fast, well, good. That's it. I mean, do not diss on these people. And if they weren't nice to you, well, then they weren't nice to you, because they had a lot more going on than whatever your problem was. So, just saying. I'm anxious to hear the response I will get when I ask my nurse when I have to be a patient in July. Oh, Christy, I wish you could video that. Ugh, but we all know what will happen. The poor nurse will get fired or something. So, yeah. All right, so we are doing this, awesome donation thing for the healthcare workers in Orlando. We hope you guys decide to contribute. If you don't, hey, you don't, and that's fine. If you have not yet made your classy fundraising page for the virtual walks and virtual runs for patient safety, shame on you. Naughty, naughty, naughty. You're bad. Let's see. All right. So we have nurses striking in Massachusetts, and I think we should be supportive of our fellow nurses no matter what else they decide to do. Orlando, if you pray, pray. If you don't, send excellent vibes, and just remember they're doing the best they can down there. They did the best they could at the time. If you can donate to the thing I posted down here, it says thank you for helping us support our sisters and brothers on the front lines. Please do, because we would like to continue sending money to buy these folks lunch. Different healthcare organizations down there that are directly helping to take care of these victims. So, any questions before I go? I'm going to be about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to go because, frankly, my shoulder hurts and I'm sick of it. I want to go lay down. Also, my allergies are bothering me. All right, no questions, kids? All right, sounds good. So, I just want all of you guys to remember to, stay united. That's the best way to get anything done. And show them your stethoscope, kids. All of you together, because they can't argue with that. If one of us is in trouble and the rest of us stand up for them, yeah, I know my link is stalled a few times, okay? It sucks. I don't know why. It'll be better to watch this in the, when it's all done. I'm going to assume, since you called me ma'am, that was Philip, right? All right. So, we're done. You guys be good.